Welcome to Hope Through the Hard, a curated coalition podcast where we talk honestly about life struggles and how to face them in healthy, hope-filled ways. In 2 Corinthians 4, Paul says we are hard-pressed on every side but not crushed, perplexed but not in despair, persecuted but not abandoned, struck down but not destroyed. That's what this space is about. Real conversations about the hard things in life and the hope that carries us through.
And today we are here. I'm Levi, and this is Ashley, and Lincoln's hanging out, watching the production, and Chicken's off playing, and yeah, we got Miss Kathy in the audience watching us.
It's super exciting.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you can find all of our coaching services on curatedcoalition.com. You can visit that and then check for Levi's coaching services, for my coaching services.
Yep.
And again, that's curatedcoalition.com.
Yep.
Kid
All right.
question.
Kid question.
I'm nervous.
If you could go back and change anything, what would it be?
Well, I can't even joke and say marriage. That would be really honoring.
Wow.
I don't know that I have anything to change. I think everything in life teaches you something.
It does, but is there nothing you would change? Nothing at all.
I don't know. You have something you'd like to change? Are you switching me up?
No. I think there's things that we could all say, yes, I'd love to change this. Me driving around corners really fast a couple of months before we got married.
That was not a couple of months. That was a couple of weeks before we got married.
But yeah, and just different things that we did where we could have made things better.
But you learned something from that.
You learn
the
hard way.
Well,
which is why we're here.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think I'd change anything. I think all of the mistakes I've made were valuable. I learned something from them.
Well, and that goes into today's fun topic of maybe you couldn't change it, but what would you rather have known when you were a kid?
Yeah, that would be something to talk about, right? Like, wouldn't change it, but what is something that we would like to have known when we were growing up? Yeah. Okay. So we're talking today specifically about healing things in our kids or with our kids, teaching them to navigate things differently than we navigated them, and starting them on healing earlier than we started.
Correct. In the right ways.
Right. And not pushing them down, not avoiding them, not running from things, facing them head on, talking about your feelings. So
understanding the source of the issues and the hurt.
Yeah.
And then how to address it.
Yeah. Okay. So jumping in, what would be something that you wish you had known growing up about healing?
It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to cry, as we kind of talked about in past episodes. It is a big part for me.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I think the biggest thing for me would just be to remember that, or to have learned that generational strongholds exist and that the enemy capitalizes on those, that those things that your grandparents struggle with, that they never fixed, they passed on to your parents, and then that was passed on to you, and now we're passing those things on to our kids, things with a root cause of rebellion or anger, and that manifests itself through bitterness and even sarcasm, just that is a generational trauma, and that we can break the stronghold of it, and teaching our kids to recognize that as a generational stronghold and break it right away.
You think we can break sarcasm out of this family?
I think it's rooted in anger, and so I'm working on it. But that's just
not just
it.
you.
Yeah, no, it's
all
not.
of us.
Yeah. So are there other ones?
Just because of how we've learned how to approach things, and that's not just our parents, our grandparents, and so on for the generations, and how to have some sarcasm and joking ways and loving ways. But it was too far.
But if it's rooted in bitterness, if it's rooted in anger, then it's not funny.
Correct.
And there's something there to be healed, and that it's okay to address that and not let it manifest and grow and sprout legs and take on part of your being. Yeah. Anything else you wish you'd known growing up?
I wish I would have known to still be a kid and keep playing.
Yeah.
Because my first job, I was 12 years old and didn't stop working since.
Yeah.
And with our kids, it's like having a job is okay, but I wish I wouldn't have gotten a job at 12. It was cool to have money. It taught me stuff. Like we just said of the kid question of things, what would I change? Learn how to play more. Because I see kids today, but for kids today, it's not necessarily having a job, it's sports or activities or one thing that they're just focused on all the time, so they're missing out on it.
Yeah, travel sports is an idol in this country.
Right.
Yeah.
Or what I'm staring at of our production guy just staring at his phone.
Yeah.
Which happens with all these teenagers of they're stuck on one thing and not able to go out and learn about the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. I think it's also something that we're trying, not just me, but you also, is that no is an acceptable boundary. And that if you don't learn to, if you don't learn to hear no, and if you don't learn to have your no accepted at a really early age, that the terrible twos has a name, terrible twos, and the trying threes for a reason, because kids are learning that boundary. This is crossing what I'm comfortable with. And as adults, we have a really hard time hearing that. But if we don't let that kid practice that, at least a little bit early on, they're going to have problems developing boundaries in the future.
Right. And that's huge of having those conversations with the kids to set those up. And I think it's cool of how we've continued those conversations past the age of 2, because every season a kid has different things in their life. And so you have to learn how to have new conversations with them, which are some of the stuff that we're trying to do as well.
Yeah, because definitely with Adeline, I would say we did not honor her no.
Right.
And that has become something that's, hard. She's very empathetic, and she lets people kind of walk on her. And so I feel like in a way we could have done better had we known more when she was little, letting her no be a no and valuing that. And then, not letting her throw a tantrum, but also just recognizing that her no meant something to her, and there's a reason she was expressing it.
And meant more conversation needed to be had.
Right.
Please explain to me why this is a no.
Right. Why is it a no? I also think another thing that I would really like to just remind people is that when you have kids, every age, every phase should be a joy and a delight for you. That, yes, having a baby is hard, but you should enjoy that when you're in it.
Yeah, those diapers now.
Yeah, you did not enjoy diaper hour.
Well, especially with boys when they're peeing on you. Yeah. But I think that's a huge part. I know many men who don't enjoy babies because they just lay there and it's like, ooh, and they're just like, nah.
Yeah.
And which is sad because you miss out on seeing their facial expressions and them seeing you, and then bonding the relationship that happens through that continues to the next phase. And for me, I know my dad would always say, oh, my buddy was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I grew out of it. And then I'm a pimple face middle school kid and a high school kid and just a punk kid, which he was joking because he loved me. But I think some people just have seasons where their kid is this age and that's what they want to hold on to.
Right.
And they miss out on so much.
Right. Yeah. I think that it's, as your child ages, enjoy them. Enjoy having an adult child, a young adult child. And don't just, wait for them. Oh, well, we'll reconnect when you have a kid for me to engage with and enjoy. Enjoy your kid.
Right.
They should be the joy of your life. Right. Grandkids are a bonus, but that relationship with your kid should feel like they are the most important person in the world to you. Right. So
that they know parents are always going to be there and love them. Yes, they might tell them no.
Of course.
Which is okay. But then depending on their ages, having deeper conversations of explaining things and learning what's going on.
Yeah. So what are some of the conversations that we're having with our kids now? Because we really only started addressing our own trauma and starting our own healing journey within the last year.
Yeah. So I know for me, I've always tried to ask the kids what's wrong and what annoys me the most. And student kids and student ministry would look at me and be like, I'm okay. And I'd look at them and go, no, you're not. And so it would start conversations, and our kids sit there and I say, are you okay? And they'll go, I'm okay. And I can look at their face and how they talk and say things with their tone. And it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
What's really going on? And then that means we have to have a conversation.
Which means you have to make the time to have a conversation, even if that's 11:30 at night.
Right.
Yeah.
And it takes time to learn that about your kid too. It's not just something that God just revealed to me of this. Here's this kid. It takes time to understand people whenever they're having troubles. So then it becomes conversations. Yes.
Yeah.
11:30 at night means I'm taking 2 hours to have this conversation, even though my kid's got to go to school the next day.
Yeah.
Yes. Have that conversation.
And even if you have to get up at 5 a.m. the next morning, take the time to have that conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know in my life, if I don't work things out, my next day could be really bad. And I know for our kids, that's happened as well.
I think as part of that too, just enjoying the present moment, enjoying them the way they are. And because you're never going to get that back, right? Like, okay, so they're having a bad day. So what? Enjoy the bad day. Like it, having that time with your kid, even in the middle of their bad day, is worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yep.
So,
And I loved even you having a conversation with one of the boys last night and walking through what he was feeling, because he hadn't really brought anything up. He was just acting
out
a little different.
He was
and
acting out.
Right. And it's what's going on.
Yeah.
And you had some real hard questions for him to answer.
Because he had some, I could tell that he was really, really upset at me.
Right.
It had been a hard day at school, and he only had 2 subjects to do, and it had taken him 6 hours to do 2 subjects that would have taken him an hour. And it's like, okay, kid, like, break it down for me like I'm dumb. Tell me what is wrong. And it boiled down to, he doesn't want to be taught the same way that the other 2 were taught. Right. It boils down to, hey, Mom, I would really like to take breaks. And so we came up with a plan. Right. Like, okay, so after every subject, you get to set a timer, and you get to choose how long the timer is, 3, 4, or 5 minutes. And in that time, you can roll on the floor. You can go outside with the dog. You can play with your Legos. You can go to the bathroom. You can get a drink. You can do jump squats if you want. I don't care what you do. Set the timer and take your break. If that's what you want, do that. And then he said, I really don't wake up well. So he asked you to take him for a run in the morning at 8:00 or before he starts school. Right. And I just, it was a really great conversation for me to see how he's changed. Right. Which it's awesome.
Right. Well, and it gives him a voice.
Right.
That is a huge part of this, where he gets to talk out. He gets to help understand and make a plan with life. And just even today, him cleaning his room, and he's like, I think I'm going to make my bed from now on every day. And it's like, oh, okay, great.
And maybe that'll help you wake up in the morning too.
Right. Not just roll around in your blanket.
Yeah.
But it gives them the ability to have some creativity, to have a control on their life and try things.
Try new things.
Right.
Right. We set that that's our plan for 1 week.
Right.
We'll reassess at the end of next week. Great.
Yeah.
Plan.
And if it works, great. If not,
change up. We'll have another hard conversation, I guess.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's one of the big parts of what we are wanting to say is with this is be honest with us, right? Whenever we have these conversations with our kids, give me the truth. Be honest.
Right.
What are you really feeling? And with that, what can we do to help? Because we mess up.
Of course.
And every time we do, we apologize.
Of course.
And go through it of, I'm having a bad day. And because of that, here's how I've acted, and I'm sorry.
Right.
So they get to see the examples of that as well.
Of course.
And us being honest.
Yeah. Yeah. So another thing I think we're really working on teaching our kids is how to set boundaries. And we've talked a lot about that, and we have about 4 other episodes, like for specific areas where we're setting boundaries. But I think that that's another thing that we're really trying to have conversations with our kids. What are the boundaries that you need for specific people? What are the boundaries that you need for devices? What are the boundaries that you need for time management? Whatever, just how to set boundaries. And we last talked about boundaries in episode 5. And so if you would like to have more information on boundary development, when and how to set boundaries, you can refer back to that episode for specifics.
Yeah. And that's a great thing to keep focusing back onto and looking and reevaluating.
Of course.
Boundaries. And then with it, all of the things in life. And, we've talked about family, we've talked about devices, but then also our boundaries and friends. I think it's something else that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, in the future, we plan to do an episode on boundaries with church, boundaries with friends, boundaries within marriage. There's several other areas where we were planning to talk about boundaries. So you want to jump into the next area?
So the next area is emotional honesty as legacy.
Yeah.
So we can focus on the longevity and the legacy of our family and emotional health.
Yeah, building a legacy of emotional health.
All right.
And Thomas Paine, who was a very famous American philosopher and writer around the time of the American Revolution, said, "He who dares not offend cannot be honest."
Yep.
And which sort of we colloquially say that now as the truth hurts.
Truth hurts.
So
sometimes too much.
Right.
But that's a key part of having relationships, is where you are able to have a real relationship means that you're able to share some of that truth. Yeah. Even when it hurts, the good, the bad, the ugly. And we want that with our kids too. We've shared, and I've shared the good, the bad, and the ugly of my life, of here's what's happened and what's gone on. So they can see that. And whenever they mess up, they feel willing to be able to share that as well.
Right. Which is hard. It's hard to be brutally honest about your past with your children, so that they can feel safe enough to be brutally honest about their present.
Right.
It's just hard.
Yeah, because they are going to mess up.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Right.
And whenever that does happen, depending on the situation, and there's times where we've been angry at our kids and been upset and overreacted.
Oh, yeah.
And then had to apologize.
Yeah.
But it's just
that happened for me this week.
Right.
Like I was furious about something with one of our children, and she was rightfully, guess I gave it away. She was rightfully like super honest and was like, "Mom, I have no idea when we crossed your threshold from we're joking to you're taking me seriously, and that's not fair."
Right.
And I was okay. Like, I don't necessarily love hearing that, but that is true. Right. And I have to take her words, and we had a whole conversation, and it was hard, but it's good because then we can both walk away and say, I've learned something about you and you've learned something about me, and we can move forward in this in a healthier way.
Right. Well, and that also is having those conversations with your kids at different seasons. That's not necessarily a thing you're going to have with some of your younger kids.
Right.
Because you're not dealing with the same things.
Yeah, you're so right. Yeah.
And as they get older, different conversations happen. The deeper the conversations and the understanding of what that person may have growing up, it can be huge because young babies aren't going to understand.
Of course not.
But as adult kids, how to have those conversations as they get out of your house
and have them respectfully.
Right.
Yeah.
Has to be a big thing, is we change in the seasons of those relationships. And if there's not honesty and an openness to be able to be truthful, because truth hurts, in those different boundaries that your kids might try to set up with you as well, there has to be love and respect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a two-way street. And another thing that I think we're trying to, with emotional honesty, being part of our future legacy with our family, breaking with the past and changing. It's recognizing that when you control your feelings, when you hold them in and you don't ever tell anyone, the thing that you did offended me. The way that you spoke to me was hurtful. Whatever those things are, you are practicing self-manipulation and self-censorship, and you are depriving the other person from ever being able to know and love the real you.
Right.
And that has been something that we've struggled with. Just, like I try to tiptoe around things, and you've tried to tiptoe around things. And
No.
in the course and in the course of the, of time, you're like, I never knew that you didn't like that.
Right.
And it's, well, I never felt like I could tell you that I didn't like that. And so you never knew the real part of me. And then I would never know the real part of you. And that's unfortunate.
Which is why whenever you have those different triggers and past hurt, childhood trauma that happens, and we're just trying to have acceptance, to be accepted, we're going to do whatever we can. And if I don't like something, but you really like it, then I'm going to do all I can to make sure you enjoy that. Or I'm going to make sure that you have that ability to have whatever that might be, even though I might not like it.
Yeah. And so as simple as this last week was your birthday, every year for the entirety of our marriage, I have insisted upon making you a birthday cake.
Yes, you have.
Much to your dismay, because you do not like birthday cake. And this is the first year that you've always said, I don't want a cake.
Right.
And I have always said, but I'm going to make you a cake. We're going to have cake. It's your birthday. You have to have a cake.
No, I don't.
And this year, for the first time, I think you finally laid it out for me because you felt like you could.
Yeah.
And you said, Ashley, I do not want a birthday cake this year.
And you listened.
And
Because we do that for everybody in the family. Whenever it's your birthday, what meal do you want?
right.
And then what cake do you want? And same with all the kids, is we try to make that day a special day. And with me, it's like, I don't want a cake,
Yeah.
but that's a tradition. Well, but I don't want it. And the kids had a hard time with it the other day as
They
well.
did.
Because they're like, well, Dad, you're going to get something. And
Yeah.
so it's like, okay. And you're like, there's donuts. Awesome.
Yeah.
So
We order donuts from a really lovely homeschool family.
Yep.
That Lincoln does stuff with their kids, and they have a donut business, and they make gluten-free donuts.
Yep.
And so we
They're
celebrated
amazing.
your birthday
Yeah.
with Dad's Donut House.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Right.
But you also, like, I think for the first time probably ever, were super honest about, I don't want it because I don't like it.
Right.
And so for me, like, as hard as that was on some levels, it was also really great for me to feel like you've healed enough and I've healed enough for you to be completely honest with me about, I don't want the doggone birthday cake, Ashley.
Because I would eat a piece
Yes.
and the rest of it was ate by all of you.
Me. Mostly me. Yeah.
And then you would get mad at me because I didn't eat my cake. And it's like,
But I really love that
Right.
that we're as a couple and as a family, that we are moving to being genuinely honest about our feelings.
Right.
So
and then our kids can be honest with us as well.
right.
To be able to heal through some of the stuff that we might have done to them that we didn't mean to.
Of course.
And with
Yeah.
that, they have a voice to be able to understand too, to be able, this is how I heal. And that's by
Right.
talking. That's by working through and finding the source of what hurt me
Right.
and how that made me feel.
And I think maybe there's a question about, is that biblical? And Ephesians chapter 4, verse 25 says, therefore, having put away falsehood, let each of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are all members one of another. So I think that's true in Christian families. We're all not just part of a family, but we're part of the body of Christ, the Big C church. And we have an obligation to speak honestly with each other about our feelings and about the word, about the Bible. But also we have to be honest with each other.
Right.
So,
And give out the hard truth at times.
mm-hmm.
Hey, you're messing up, and this is how.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes to hear that, and the church world does not like to do that.
Right.
Because then I'm in trouble, and especially if a minister comes and tells me, which is kind of what they're supposed to be doing too as elders and ministers, watching over their flock and loving them, freaks people out, and
Yeah.
they don't always approach it the right way either.
Yeah. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is be honest.
Be honest.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for today's conversation. My hope is that you leave here reminded that whatever it is that you're facing, you're not crushed, you're not abandoned, and you're not destroyed. That's the promise of 2 Corinthians 4:8-9, and the heartbeat of hope through the hard. You can find all of our coaching services at curatedcoalition.com. We'll see you next time.